Welcome to the Homegrown Haven. There's a few generations of us living here, all under one roof. Well, mostly. We are renovating our 3-bedroom bungalow, room by room, and learning as we go. We've just finished building an annex out the side of the bungalow, which is now home to my grandma. It's given her space, independence, and still keeps her right at the heart of everything we're doing here. And then there's the land, about an acre that we're turning into a proper kitchen garden. The goal is simple: grow more of our own food, waste less, and figure things out as we go. It's not always smooth, and it's definitely not for everyone, but it works for us. If you're into renovations, gardening, or just curious about a different way of living, you're in the right place.
Right, so the home lodge is complete and Mum's been living in it for weeks now. The patio is complete and we're now using it. The edging, the render, has now been painted all the way around, 2 coats, and it's looking good. The last job is this mess here, and I got some half-price turf from B&Q this morning at 7 o'clock. I'm now going to lay it and finish the job. Well, I don't think the staff at Wimbledon will be happy with that, and I've had to make a few patchy bits, but I'm convinced in a month's time, if I water it well, that will blend in and you will never know it was like that. Job done. Right, on this glorious day, what's next? One of the pleasures of being retired is I can do those things, for example, hardening off. Every morning I take these things out in their mushroom trays and I sit them outside, and then last thing in the evening I bring them back in the greenhouse for the protection of the greenhouse overnight with the cold temperatures. I could never do that at the allotment. It's an absolute pleasure to have the time. Right, so no more talk, let's get those trays out. Well, I'm sad to see them go, but the tulips have been put on their show and have now died back. And I've nipped the seed heads off to stop them swelling, taking energy from the bulb, gently dug them out of the pots. I'm going to put them up in the roof of the woodshed in the cool and dry, to dry. Then I will nip off all the green growth that's coming out the bulb and then store the bulbs in a paper bag in the shed in the cool and dry, and I'll plant them out in the flower beds next year and see if we don't get a show off them in the flower beds. We'll see. Well, I have my morning routine where I get out to watch the sunrise and I walk around the garden, check everything's tickety-boo, and of course this morning it was. Everything's good. I thought, right, time for a brew. Let's head to the woodshed. And we've had a collapse. Nothing dramatic, just funny enough, Carl said the other day, he says, it looks like some of those wood piles are starting to lean over. And I laughed and thought nothing of it. Right, before I can get at the kettle, I'll have a job. When we first moved in to the garden and the property, I was very careful and slow and thoughtful, unlike me usually, about where we put what, how we designed the garden, because having had 2.5 allotments for 8 years, I know that you create a lot of work if you rush in, place things, design things, build things, and then have to change it. So on the whole, we've got it right, I think. The kitchen garden is a beautiful area. We've designed it correctly, I think, and it's all working. And in the future, whether we expand it or not, it works. This working area with the compost bays behind me, the woodshed, the small woodshed that I've turned into a garage for my tools and the ride-on mower, that all works perfectly. There is one aspect that we haven't got right, I haven't got right, and I'm looking at the moment to change a few things. So let me show you what I think I've got wrong. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair, maybe I didn't get it wrong, but it's not right. Subtle difference. Now, what you're looking at here is the roof to the small woodshed. Actually, that roof came off the summer house, which is up where the home lodge was. So it was repurposed, carried down here at great physical effort and lifted onto that lean-to woodshed, which is now the garage for the ride-on mower. I then created this small shelving area under here. It does look a little untidy, but it's a working area, so I accept that. Where I need to make a change is here. I need to move the chipper. The chipper is currently kept in the area below the home lodge, which we call the chicken coop. The previous owners had chickens, it was a chicken run. We don't have chickens, we don't intend to, I don't think. And we're going to repurpose that area, more of that in another episode. But I need to move the wood chipper, and I'm thinking of putting it here and extending the lean-to to put the wood chipper in there and maybe a few other tools. And that aero hot bin, which is a fantastic bit of kit, I'm going to move and place it where those breeze blocks are. Now that seems like a fairly simple job, but there's a lot of compost in that aero hot bin. So I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up here, a bit of a sort out, and move that hot bin. In the grand scheme of things, it's not the biggest reshuffle I've had to make. And in a large part, I've got it right in this garden. But I need to do a bit with this area. I'm not happy with that, and that. So we need a bit of a tidy up, I think. Well, in the middle of that project, I've had a delivery. These are my asparagus crowns. Really excited about that. So first thing I want to do, get them out the paper, soak them for an hour, and then we're going to put them in the bed. Happy days. These ones have got a bit of growth on them. So essentially what I've done there is I've just created two long mounds, and I'm going to drape the asparagus crowns like spiders across them and then cover with more compost. No digging involved. Okay, that's 10 asparagus crowns sat on a raised ridge. Now I've got to cover them over, and it's called asparagus ginlim or ginlim, something like that. Odd name, won't forget that in a hurry. Well, I'm thrilled. 10 asparagus plants planted. I just got to water it now, even though they've had a good soak. And let's just hope the birds stay off that. I might get a bit of chicken wire out and see if I can't just cover it, get the blackbirds away. Although the blackbirds are more interested in the wood chip, they do still throw the soil about. They're a blimmin' pest. Right, really pleased with that. So the asparagus is in less than 2 hours after I received it. It's now growing in ridges, and the chicken wire just about goes across it. And I shall leave that chicken wire there all summer. The spears that do grow on this first year can grow through the chicken wire, no problem. And I'll cut it down in the autumn. Does anyone see a problem with me doing that with the chicken wire? Because the blackbirds will just come in, and within a day or two the asparagus crowns will be out the ground the way they dig at the soil. So I think that's a reasonable remedy. We now have asparagus, and I won't pick it this year obviously, and I certainly won't pick it next year, but the year after we may take a few spears, and then, you know, maybe up to 20-25 years worth of asparagus. We've got the ground, it's well worth the investment. And for all those who, like me, are keen to get on with the season, let this be a warning to you. That is my courgette that survived. I don't expect to ever get any fruit off of that. I think I'll have to dig that out, but out of curiosity I'm leaving it. I don't cover it at night, it's on its own. Who knows? Patience is a virtue, I've been told. Right, back to the original job. That plywood sheet there is going to form the lean-to roof. So somehow, on my own, I've got to get that up there, and those two battens are going to support it against the roof, against the wall. I've got to get it up there, hold it in place, get up the ladder and screw that in as a one-man band. This could end up with me in a big pile on the floor, couldn't it? Let's give it a go. Well, I admit that area hasn't changed much, and it's not a thing of beauty, it's just practical. I can collect more water off it, it'll protect the chipper, and there's scope to put other stuff in there as well, so I'm fairly happy with that. Well, I'm very excited, had a special delivery, splashed a bit of cash. I'm going to open it up and see what's in there. There is a bit of a dent in one of these wooden cardboard tubes. I'm a bit concerned, so I'll have a look, see what state it's in, and then I'll show you. Right, I know they're upside down, but that's to prevent the wind grabbing them. I've bought two 1.2 metre high cages for my brassicas, and that's butterfly netting. What I particularly like about this product is the netting is fitted, so I haven't got to fold it over and mess about and faff. It fits the frame perfectly, and the one here is 1.5 metre high. So the other two are for all my brassicas, but this one will be for the Brussels sprouts. So I'll be able to put them in a cage and they will stay in the cage throughout their life, right up until the winter when the butterflies are gone. I haven't put the net on that. The net on that one actually hangs underneath, which is quite a clever idea. These cages are from Harrod Horticulture. I'm not being paid, unfortunately, but I'll give them a plug because they look like quality products. I think they do bracing brackets for the corners because of high winds, and of course everywhere in the UK you get high winds. So I think I will, in a couple of weeks' time, send off for some bracing brackets that go in the corners just to give it that extra robustness. But I've got to wait for someone to help me fit them, and then I can plant the brassicas. But I'm really excited about this. Spent a bit of money. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them over the vegetable beds. Up and in.
No, you're going too far. Hang on.
Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, just give it a gentle push.
That's right.
Well, some of us are sat enjoying this glorious spring afternoon. Others have far more serious work to do. And I'm pleased to report that is the third brassica net up. Now, if I'm honest, I bought two that are supposed to be 1.2 metres and one that's meant to be 1.5. I've hammered this 1.5 metre in far deeper. And to be honest, even for Brussels sprout plants, I think the 1.2 metres are tall enough. So I've made a slight error there. However, I might take those off in a week or two and then make the holes much, much deeper for the poles to go in, so they go down lower. Because the lower they are, the less resistance to wind. But I'm very happy with this. This one hangs underneath like a curtain, which is quite novel. But I haven't put the Brussels sprouts in yet, but I'm really happy with that. Right, not happy with me working and them sitting down. I'm going to go and join them. Everybody I speak to has remarked on how beautiful the blossom has been this spring. And I'm talking about, across the country. And our garden has been no different. It's been stunning in every regard. This apple tree is just adorned. It's beautiful. It's an absolute pleasure to look at from the house and up close. And the 9 trees that we planted to varying degrees are put on a display in a much more modest way. This apple tree, Katie, a cider apple, is probably the best of all. Stunning. But this is an eating apple called Tickled Pink. And recently the blossom started to appear on it, and it is stunning. Now imagine when that tree's 10 feet tall, as big, maybe as big as that other one I've just showed you, and it's covered in that vivid, bright pink blossom. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I hope I'm going to be around to see it. I can hear a cuckoo. The perceived wisdom in gardening is that when you move into a new garden, whatever the size and nature of it, you should leave it a year just to observe, to find out what you've got. And of course we learned that in the late winter with the bulbs that came up that we hadn't planted. And I hadn't really noticed this lilac tree. I think it's a couple of lilacs. But it's really putting on a show now, and we just weren't aware it was here. Absolutely beautiful. We're very lucky. Well, this area under the cigar tree, I won't be cutting this grass until the 1st or 2nd week of June, so that the daffodil plants have a chance to put their energy back into the bulbs, and they don't come up blind next year. But these couple of broad beans that we guess the squirrels put in the ground are developing quite nicely. We might actually get a crop off of them. I quite like this area with the long grass, but like I say, it'll be cut back in June. He's having fun with the sprinkler.
Yeah.
Go on then. He's getting braver.
Funny.
It's funny. Go on, son, get in there. That's it. Bit further. No harm can come to you. Trust Grandad.
Scary.
It's scary. Get out of here. It's a water sprinkler. Go on the grass. Trust your Grandad. Go on, get down there. That's it. Yeah, oh yes, yeah. Who says you can't cut grass in the wet? Go on, get in there, son.
You getting a shower, George?
Hottest day of the year, and he's starting to shiver. Yeah, he is, yeah. I'm going to turn it off now anyway. I don't want to waste water too much. Well, in amongst the gardening, there are other chores to be done, and today is clear out the shed day. We have used the shed as a dumping ground since we got here, and it's slowly filling up. So Charlotte has ordered all us to come down and help tidy it. And at the moment it's a case of putting it in different piles. Yes, because it's such a big shed, it's so easy just to bring stuff down and dump. Of course, the worst culprit is Charlotte.
Absolutely not.